Hey everyone, welcome to the weirdest news in history with me, Ben Chasteen, where you'll hear strange news pieces from any time period. Well, the Vatican is celebrated for its rich culture, stunning architecture, and historic moments and monuments, while serving as the heart of the papacy. Yet it is also a focal point for controversy and conspiracies throughout history, harboring its share of hidden truths as well as the secret Vatican Library, and who knows what's there. Well, with the passing of Pope Francis, who died right after President or Vice President Vance visited him, we decided to explore the top 5 of the secrets about the Vatican on this episode of Weirdest News in History, with time travel, entering the gates of hell with Hellmouth, Nazis, the vanishing Pope, and so much more. So, if that's weird enough for you, stay tuned to hear the weirdest news in history. All right, and with me I have my brother Jordan. How are you doing, Jordan?
Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm good.
Cool. Yeah, I still this whole thing with the passing of the Pope and Vance visiting him, and then he died, and then the Charles Schwab stepping down from World Economic Forum, all within the same days, and now we're eliminating food dye. It's like, what is going on? This is crazy. So, so I was like, okay, why don't I, this would be fun to do, kind of like get into some of the more deeper aspects of the hidden truths of the Vatican. And honestly, some of these are borderline. Yeah, I mean, I hate to use the word conspiracy, right? In fact, there's actually articles written about all of these, including number 5 here on our list: how the Vatican helped Nazi war criminals escape to South America. Yep, you sure heard that right. I mean, we all know, especially after what happened recently, Rob and I just did a whole show on how the many Nazis, former Nazis, I guess you could say, escaped to South America, specifically Argentina. Well, it turns out the Vatican might have actually helped them. And it was thousands of Nazis that managed to escape to South American countries. So Harvard researcher Gerald Gerald Steinarker wrote a book that shows travel documents pointing to the Vatican having helped the Nazis travel to these countries such as Argentina, Chile, and Brazil. Gerald argues that it was done with the hope of reviving European Christianity and fear of the growing influence of the Soviet Union. So the documents, which are discussed in his book, Nazis on the Run: How Hitler's Henchmen Fled Justice, offer a significant insight into the Vatican's thinking, particularly because its own archives beyond 1939 are still closed. Lo and behold, Vatican has consistently refused to comment whether or not they have helped Nazis escape. They haven't denied it, nor have they endorsed it. So kind of weird. I'd have to be honest. When I first heard this, I was like, dude, this has got to be some crazy conspiracy. And well, lo and behold, even there was a newspaper report from the San Francisco Examiner that even talked about it. Because it's official U.S. document papers that mention it. The guy wrote a book about it, but he was referencing the official documents that are in the U.S. archives. So, and some of the Jewish people the article mentioned were a little upset about this, specifically if it is true that then Vatican helped them. So, I mean, the Pope did accept this like weird communist sickle and hammer thing from I think it was Cuba. He went to Cuba and it was like, here, we'll give you this communist symbol. So weird. I still don't know. I think the the aspect of the Pope seems more political than religious. So speaking of the Pope, that leads into our number 4.
Real quick, just want to mention that Pope Benedict was a Nazi youth.
What do you mean,
Remember
Nazi youth?
the Pope Benedict? Yeah, he was a Nazi youth in Germany.
Really? I
Yeah,
had no idea.
yeah. Actually,
How did he become the Pope then?
this article is a little old because this is back when he was running.
Wow. That is insane. I had no idea. See, wow, that's crazy. I don't even know what to think about this. Well, I guess when they're accusing you of everything, why don't just disappear into thin air? Which is what happened a few years back. I think it was Pope Benedict. So, Jordan, can you make this bigger? There he is. Boop. Just disappears. This is so freaking weird. Now, the official explanation for this was that it was a camera glitch in an editing thing, but it doesn't make any sense. Why is only he disappear? If there was just an editing thing, they would just cut the editing and then he would still be standing there. So the whole thing okay, that was the the current pope, well, who now died, but that still doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And this was on live TV, so I don't understand what was going on. I remember when this happened, and Rob and I were doing the show at this time, and we were like, "What in the world is happening with this?" Yeah, Pope Francis. That was not Benedict. Got him confused, but still very strange. No explanation. Just, oh yeah, it was just an editing mistake, and everyone went crazy. And the video is kind of hard to explain or hard to find. It's on Twitter right now, or X, but people are sharing it, but it's very grainy. So I was trying to find the original one. So so strange. It's like hologram. I don't know. Say it again. Like, it just doesn't seem like an editing error, considering they just cut over to something different. And like I said, it was just cut off, unless the whole thing was fake, and they just like literally put the Pope in the window, even though he wasn't there. That's the only other explanation I can think of. Was that, oh, we've like the Pope is sick, so let's just make up a Pope in this window and pretend he's there, and we'll show it that way. That's the only other conclusion I can come to, was just the fact that he wasn't there and they wanted to put him there. But there was people underneath who actually saw him. So it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. Just feel like maybe it is a hologram. Maybe he wasn't there. Maybe they were doing something.
I think a hologram makes the most sense, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. Maybe it was. Maybe he did die.
I don't know.
Don't know either. All right, let's move on to number 3. Vatican's secret archives. This is true. They do have a secret archive. It's a massive underground storage facility. And if you lined up all the shelving together, it would span over 52 miles. That is a very long distance of material. Books, documents, artifacts, proof of aliens, who knows? Um, and it's got miles and miles of books, 35,000 volumes of catalogs, and 12 centuries worth of documents. I mean, like, our whole entire human history is here. There's actually rumors that whatever happened at the Library of Alexandria, everything was moved over here. So it's hard to say. This has been one of the things that many people would wish they could at least open up to the public. And you have to have, like, even if you are part of the Vatican, you have to have very specific access to go down there. Not anybody can even just go down there. There's also rumors of stuff about, well, not just rumors. There is selective, extremely secretive documents related to the trials against the Knight Templars. That is actually confirmed. That's one of the things that's down there, and they're not like reports that came a couple hundred centuries later. These are the actual documents of the Knights Templar. So that's kind of impressive on its own. But it's like a credible fortress down there. What's weird, and Rob and I did kind of talk about this a while ago, on their official website, it does list how you can gain access. But you have to, like, go through this whole thing. You have to be a part of it. And not even if you're like a bishop could you get even access. You really have to go all out and be very high level, like, person to go. And and you can't just wander down there either. You have to have uh somebody to be with you. What does that say, Jordan? Can you zoom in a little bit? Let's see. In accordance with the practice established in 1924, which is literally over 100 years old, the Pope grants free access to the documents. Running up to the end of Pope Pius the Seventh from October of 1958.
So
Anyway,
essentially, from 1965 on, you pretty much have to be like part of some kind of scholars thing to get into it.
yeah. Like I said, you have to really be in the know and be a part of the whole entire Vatican thing to even request access. Now, on the Unsealed Alien Files show, there was a priest who they interviewed on the show, and there was a voiceover. Well, I guess it's a voiceover from information they got from Vatican officials said that they have publicly acknowledged the likelihood of alien life. I mean, this is true. At first they were like, we deny it. Now they have actually came out in support of alien life. And so there is a whole massive conspiracy that whatever they have down there has reference to aliens, possibly alien technology, maybe even alien bodies down there. Who knows at this point? Um, but it does go on to say that evidence of alien life, we learn, is available in the Vatican secret archives. That's what the show says. So maybe it's really there. I mean, I really think I think it is. I think they have enough evidence probably for all of that. And there's probably all kinds of things from giants to who built the pyramids. They probably even have the documentation on it. It's like I think everything is under there. All right. What do you think, Jordan? Have you looked in? You've looked into a little bit with.
I've looked into it. One thing I did read. I was trying to find it, but I couldn't find it. One thing I've read about was that supposedly there's like the book of Judas is there, which would change all kinds of things. So that's like one thing that they're like really. I forget what I was reading this about, but yeah, the book of Judas is apparently in the Vatican like files. Like that was like one of the big things that they were hiding. Some of their stuff that's going to be on this list, and yeah, I mean, they have. So
yeah,
who freaking knows?
I know, really. At this point, anything is possible. All right, let's move on to our number 2. The Snake Hall is what I call it. I actually forget what the official name is. What is the official name of the Snake Hall Vatican thing? It's called oh yeah, there it is. Well, no, let's see. Oh, the Audience Hall. That's right. I think it's Saint Paul Audience Hall. Yeah, Paul. Okay, Paul the 6th Audience Hall. That's the official name for it. And it sure looks like a snake inside and outside, especially the outside. I mean, how can anyone look at that? I mean, even the inside. But how can anyone look at that even from the outside? And it's like you're not trying to create a snake here. I mean, there's no doubt about it. 100%. You show this to anybody, they're like, yeah, it's a snake. Their official explanation is that, oh, people are just looking at it, and when you look at an image and you see something different than what's actually there, and they're like, oh, it's not supposed to be a snake. You just need to ask the person who made it. And believe it or not, the person who made the statue doesn't seem to be a Christian. So I mean that's kind of weird in itself. That's a whole other thing we'll get to in a minute. But then you have the Pope who sits in front of this weird statue thing, and it's called the Resurrection. And it's literally supposed to be Jesus rising up from a blast caused by a nuclear explosion. That's literally what it's supposed to represent. So there's been, so many people have described it every way possible. It's like, is that a normal thing for a pope to stand in front of? I don't know. It was inspired by the bombing of Hiroshima in Japan, which is why the artist decided to do it this way. I have no idea. He was supposed to. I mean, his point is that it's Jesus's victory over even the most extreme forms of death and destruction. But why does Jesus look so deformed and dark? That's the question that everybody has. If that's the case, like, why not just make him very beautiful? I don't really understand this, especially when you mirror the image. It even looks even freakier. And not to mention that Jesus's hair is literally a snake. Jordan, can you zoom in on the statue a little? Well, yeah, there it is mirrored. I mean, it literally just looks like something from hell, considering it is in the Hellmouth. So Hellmouth Leviathan is there. I mean, literally, it looks like a snake head. It looks like the hair and the mouth is partially open, and there's teeth, and then there's an eye, and that's supposed to be Jesus's hair. And I mean, literally, I think it's more like Lucifer rising from the ashes of the burning earth and the souls that he is gathering. I mean, to me, that's what it represents. We have no idea. But you would think with something less massive and so many people, like, well, let's create something beautiful that gives people a sense of awe and wonder and inspiration. Instead, it's like, let's just put this like Baphomet thing in here and pretend Yeah, this is actually Hellmouth right here. So, and the Bible mentions it that the mouth of the Leviathan, the monster demon thing, the serpent, inside its mouth is the entry to Hellmouth. And when you look at the hall on the inside, it's literally in a serpent's mouth. And you got the fangs coming down, and then it's like the Pope is sitting right there, and literally it's like, you know, you have the eyes. That's the statue. Can you go back to the overall? Yeah, dude, that, I mean, look at that though. I mean, like, if I had no idea what this is, it'd be like, man, this looks like some kind of like demon worshiping thing, you know? I mean, really, it's just like, it looks like a chaotic mess of destruction and chaos and terror that does not.
It's also 66 foot tall.
That's the other thing. That's right.
66 feet tall, exactly.
Like,
By
what the heck?
23 by 10 feet.
It makes no sense whatsoever. It really doesn't. Can you go back to the inside of the hall again? Like yeah, there we go. I mean, literally, this is a snake, and inside, you know, where the fangs are coming down, it's like literally like where the Pope sits. So it's just, I mean, this, like, what the heck? Like, what in the world? I just can't even fathom. I guess when you're inside, you may not see it necessarily as a snake head, you know, but I mean, the outside is a snake head. It's just so, I mean, like, you would think, hey, this is Jesus. Let's do something great, you know. Let's do something angelic. Have like angels around him and like flowers, you know. That would give a sense of wonder and awe and beauty. You know, this is like evil and dark and destruction and terror and death. It doesn't represent Jesus at all. So freaking weird. I mean, clearly the person designing this knew what they were doing, and and it just shows that the Catholic Church knew what they were doing too. And this is not against anything about Jesus. This is just how the Catholic Church is. I feel like it's all becoming political, and you know, I mean, this is the same kind of stuff that Jesus was, you know, came here for, to kind of go against what the church was. Well, at least not the church, but the the leaders, the I mean, realistically, the Jewish leaders at the time, who were taking it more as a political thing than anything else. And he's like, you guys are doing this all wrong. It's like you left the heart and the compassion and the love out of this, and it's like you're just benefiting yourselves. It's exactly what's happening, I feel like, in today's world. But people can't see it. I don't know what to tell you. So all right, let's move on to number one, which is something a little bit more exciting, at least. The time machine that supposedly the Vatican has, the chronovisor. So we have talked about this a little bit, but this is definitely one of my favorite topics to talk about when related to the Vatican's secret stuff. So that's why I put this on number one on the list. Supposedly, this was built by an Italian scientist and priest. Um, and oh, I guess the creator is Pellegrino Maria Arnetti. Supposedly, is the creator of this thing. And it's the chronovisor is a device that allows people to view the past and the future, similar how you would just kind of like look into something and like seeing a movie, or you can project it on a screen. But it was more of a device that you look into, and it would like show. It's like, instead of looking at a movie, it's like you're actually seeing a real scene play out. That you would like coordinate it with the machine, figure out exactly what date you want, where you want it. Of course, there's no record of it existing. However, in 1972, there was an Italian publication that carried well, had a story about it titled, oh, I mean, it was in Italian, but it says, a machine that photographs the past has finally been invented. and the article covered Arnetti's shocking statements. Okay, so I'm sorry. Arnetti wasn't the one who invented it. He was the one that witnessed and saw it. And Arnetti, in this article, claimed to have captured a photo of Jesus that he decided to keep, and he captured the Romans crucifying Jesus like with his disciples, Last Supper, and this is one of the photos. I'm going to get into this photo in a minute. Now, if you look on Wikipedia, now this is another one that he said was Jesus before it was either Last Supper or before he was crucified. I can't remember which one it was, but he did say that he witnessed the Last Supper and kept a photograph as a souvenir. Now, when Arnetti was like pretty much on his deathbed, he wrote an open letter reiterating that the device was real. He claimed that Pope Pius VII forbade us to disclose any details about this device because the machine was very dangerous if it fell into the wrong hands. It can restrain the freedom of man, he said. Now, yeah, I want to go back to this photo. And so supposedly it's Jesus walking with John behind him. And I'm not sure who the older man in front of Jesus is. Now, there's many people been breaking this down. And there was a website that really took all these images and looked at it from an artistic point of view, from a photograph and everything else. Now, Jordan, can you pull up the original photo again, the whole photo? I wonder if we can do that. I don't think we can do a side-by-side image here. But, okay. Yeah, now here supposedly is the real image with John right there, Jesus in front of him, and it might be, it's one of his other disciples. I'm not sure. Although some people said it might be, oh my gosh, I can't think of his name right now. The one priest that actually believed in him, but yeah, starts with an A. Can't think of his name. Anyway, some people said it might be him, who ended up not following Jesus in the end because he was afraid of kind of losing his position. But okay, go to the painting now. So this is what a lot of people are like, oh, it's just this painting. However, this is completely different. If you superimpose these, they don't match up. And also, Jesus looks extremely different here. John kind of looks, I mean, if that is John looks very similar here, and then he's got these other disciples following him behind. And even the grains in the field are kind of similar, but Jesus's head and beard is totally different from the other one. Now, there's even another painting, and this is the thing that doesn't make sense. Why is there so many paintings of the same image? And they're all from like the 1900s. So let's see. Can you pull up painting 2 here, Jordan? So that's painting 1. This is painting 2. Can you zoom in a little bit? Again, totally different. I mean, that dude, whatever that looks like, that doesn't even look like Jesus. It's like, so again, his beard is like, look how sharp his beard is, right? Like it really sticks out. And his hair is different. John is different. The space between them is different. It's not a photograph. That what we're looking at isn't even a photograph of these paintings because the paintings are different. So all of this is, and why is there 2 different styles? Not even 2, there's actually 3. And then because somebody else used this for it was like a Christian CD that came out a while ago. And yeah. Yeah. So I think it's a little bit similar to the other one. It's just the coloring is different. And I think they changed some things related to like Jesus on there and stuff. But again, this is not the same as the original. And this is what people are saying. Well, this is, this. Can you zoom in a little bit more, Jordan? This one is definitely closer to the. So again, now we're looking at like 4 different paintings of this. And this is probably the closest one to what would be called like the photograph, but it is still different. Again, the spaces are different. Jesus is looking more down here than the other one. See, and it's just slightly different. It's the closest one out of all of them, but it's still not quite the same. See, yeah, this is a good thing. So like in the other one, Jesus is just looking more down, and his eyes are different, and his beard is different. Same thing with John. And honestly, the other one looks more like a photo. I mean, clearly the other one is a painting. But they're all that's the thing. It's like they're like Jesus looks kind of similar to the other one, but then John doesn't. John looks like more closer to the other painting. So it's like there's all these weird things that are just super off on this. So the story, I mean, if you look this up on Google search and everything else, it'll say, oh yeah, this photograph came from these paintings. However, the other theory is that the Vatican hired people to paint these based on the real photograph to confuse people, to make sure that in case the photograph ever got released by Arnetti, that they could have a story to back it up. Or they already had the photo and were like, okay, we need to change this. The other one with the face of Jesus on the bottom right there, I mean, I don't know. That's another one that he you know he
That
says,
just looks like a photograph of a painting.
yeah, that one a little bit does to me, but the other one really does look real. So but he swore up and down that it was a real thing, that he saw that and witnessed it, and even on his deathbed he still claimed it. He never backed down on that. So, and supposedly when he talked about it, he said the other guy that was there, who I don't think he was the inventor, but one of the main bishops or whatever that was using it was really upset that he was talking about it, because they were like, we don't want anyone that would be an enemy to use this, because yeah, again, he's just looking too far down. I mean, it's very similar, but there's just something about this one, and he doesn't even look the same there. Nicodemus. Somebody in the chat. Yes, Nicodemus. Thank you. I was like, oh my God, I can't think of his name. Yeah, supposedly that's Nicodemus with Jesus, and then John is behind them. So, but no one really knows for sure. But it looks like it very well could be Nicodemus. So, but yeah, that's the theory, is that they had the photo and were like, we need to make paintings of this quickly in case like anyone would ever see the photo themselves. I mean, I don't know. I wish we would have these answers. One day, I really think one day we'll have our answer to what is in the secret Vatican library, and I think it will shock the world, which is probably why they don't want people to know. It also probably will show how corrupt the Vatican has been as well. All the weird things that they've been probably doing and hiding and everything else. Because I mean, again, it's like they're the Catholic Church. They came out and was like, yeah, we have stuff on aliens. They might fear of losing people to their church and to the Catholicism. So it's like, oh yeah, we don't want to come out with anything that could push people away. even though I feel like they're already kind of doing that. Dude, this is crazy.
Someone in the chat mentioned how Benedict looked like the Emperor Palatine, and
Yeah,
that was a meme at the time.
that is insane. I can't believe that. They really do look very similar. And again, I mean, I'm not criticizing Christianity here. You know, it's the exact opposite. I feel like what they're doing, you know, if Jesus was here, I feel like he would be, I don't want to use the word upset, but I should say disappointed in the Catholic Church and how they are conducting things. It's like,
Right.
are you listening? Did you listen to anything that I said? Just feel like they're making it about themselves. And unfortunately, it has kind of, you know, turned people away, but so nuts. But anyway, if the Catholic Church does have the ability of time travel, that would be, I mean, you know, then you have like the White House that just came out and said we can manipulate time and space with our technology. Maybe they know what the Vatican has too. So who knows? Anyway, any final words on any of this stuff, Jordan?
I mean, this is like just scratching the surface of.
I mean, it really is. I know. I know. There's
I
just,
mean,
we've dived
we're
into
talking
this
about like
so much.
we're talking about the stuff that people like, you know, kind of assume. We're not even talking about the stuff that people know. We're not even going to like some of the darker stuff that people like legitimately know about. So,
Oh yeah, I know. You know, I mean, gosh, I mean
all the
that's a
cover
whole
ups and
rabbit hole in itself. I was just trying
everything.
to, you know, let's just kind of go after some of the more interesting, fun things. You know, I mean, gosh, the whole Vatican Church is such a massive, massive dark rabbit hole as you start diving deeper and deeper into it. You know, so who knows what they have and what's there. I mean, there's also a whole theory that the not even a theory. I think it's proven that the Vatican holds the largest, what I want to say, largest collection of pornography.
So it's like stealing it and trying to like tell people they can't have it, so they keep it.
I have no idea. I don't really know, but that was actually confirmed that inside the Vatican Library there is a massive collection of pornography. I don't know if it's just people that are like that would go there and say, "Oh, I have this, I don't want it anymore, and let me give it to you guys," you know, but why don't just destroy it instead of keeping it? So that's weird too in itself.
My first theory, my first thought was this the porn that they created?
I know. Well, that's like the other thing that people are wondering. You know, are they selling that online?
Yeah.
That's where the dark rabbit hole really
Yep.
goes deeper and deeper.
Or the Vatican Bank.
Yeah, that's another one. That was a
Yeah.
whole other thing. You know, the Vatican Bank. I mean, there's so many conspiracies revolved around this. You know, I was just trying to keep this a little bit shorter,
Right.
but you're absolutely right. You know, in history, yeah, I mean, this is what Martin Luther, he was standing up against this too. He's like, dude, you guys have all become about, this is all about money. Like, this is nothing about the church anymore. And he's like, I'm leaving. And he wasn't also trying to start his own denomination. It's just like he started gaining followers because he was being honestly like true to himself and true to God. And so naturally people were flocking to him because it's like, oh wow, you understand this, you know? So I just feel like, yeah, I mean, it's just like I said, it's a massive rabbit hole, and I don't want to go too deep and dark with this, but crazy, crazy stuff. But I'm still always on the lookout for information on the chronovisor to see if any like anything new is like slipping through the cracks here and there, you know, or if anybody else is
Do you think
talking
it
about
actually
it.
exists?
What'd you say?
So do you think it actually exists?
I think I really don't think it would be that difficult, especially because honestly, I believe that this technology came from Tesla because Tesla was
Mm.
already talking about this stuff. He was talking about time travel and a sense of like viewing the past or even, oh, sorry, even or viewing the future. And so there's like a very famous quote from Tesla where he mentions that in the future, people will be walking around, like he doesn't call it like a phone, but like a communication device. And he mentions that it'll be kept in like the breast pocket of their jackets, and he mentions a few other things related to the city life and things like that too. So, I think that it's very possible that he created something like this, and the Vatican might have just confiscated it, not even like created them themselves. They might have just been like, "Oh, wow, we just got this crazy thing from Tesla," And I think that's probably more the case. Or, there was because I think the story is there was a priest that actually built it, but my theory is that whatever information or however they were building it, I think it was blueprints from Tesla. So I do think that there's something like this that could exist. Now, whether like, you could take a photo of it or anything else like that, or how it works directly, like, how do you pinpoint exactly what time period and where you want, that could be a big question about it. But but I would imagine it wouldn't be that much different than coordinates. You would just probably type in the year that you want in some kind of coordinate setting, and then it would just go to those coordinates. So, but I mean, considering that this is like technology that would be 150 years old, and when you really think about it, and it sounds like, it even sounds futuristic in our time, let alone 150 years ago. I can't even imagine I mean, now they probably just have some portal like a Stargate. You can just walk through and walk out. This device may be like outdated by now, even though it's still considered futuristic tech from our standards. But it's always, always a question of what technology exists that we don't know about. But I mean, look at CERN. It's probably not much different than what CERN is doing. So. But they're probably like, well, instead of just viewing the past, because it may, I don't think they could like change events necessarily. You can't go there and like people would see you. It's more just like watching a movie play out where you're seeing it on the screen, right? But now, like with CERN, it's like, oh, let's not just watch it. Let's go back in the past and interact with the past. So that's probably something more that they're doing.
CERN is a whole other conversation.
Oh yeah. Massive rabbit hole too. But all right, you guys. Well, I hope you like this episode of Weirdest News in History. Let me know which one you like. Also, if you have anything interesting or found on anything unusual, you can send it over at weirdernews@rise.tv. So thanks, you guys. Hope you enjoyed this episode. And until next time, we'll see you out on the edge. There it is right there. You can share it. So thanks, Jordan. Thanks for helping out.
No problem.